Hey guys, Luke Wilson here bringing you our latest offseason outlook. Next up, Russell Wilson. Yes, so Russell Wilson. So after a couple of months of us waiting for what we all knew was coming, the Broncos finally mercifully cut the cord on Russ. They're going to pay him $39 million in 2024 to play anywhere else. They are going to eat $85 million in dead money against their salary cap over the next 2 seasons to do so. And frankly, it was the right call for the Broncos. Dangerous was really mostly disastrous in his 2-year stint as a Bronco. While his 42 touchdowns to 19 interceptions across 30 games in Denver is certainly nothing to write home about, even that really understates just how hopeless the Denver offense and really the Denver team was for most of his time there. To my surprise, Russ did not have to wait very long at all for a new team to come calling. He actually had a handshake agreement in place with the Steelers ahead of the opening of the NFL free agency period in 2024, which of course then led to the Steelers shipping Kenny Pickett, their 2022 first-round pick, across Pennsylvania, and Mason Rudolph choosing not to re-sign in Pittsburgh, instead signing with the Titans. And honestly, at first blush, I was absolutely prepared to hate this signing. Wilson, at his best in Denver, was barely even a game manager, and at his worst, he single-handedly crippled this entire offense. And they already had that skill set in Kenny Pickett, so why go get a guy who is 10 years older? But Wilson may have a saving grace here in Arthur Smith. Okay, hear me out. The 2023 Broncos did a masterful job of hiding Wilson's flaws, which are primarily throwing the ball into the intermediate middle part of the field, but they did next to nothing to play to his strengths. Per Warren Sharp, the Broncos had Russell Wilson throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage at the highest rate of any NFL quarterback since 2005. They had him throw it within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage at the second highest rate of any quarterback since 2005. And they let him throw the ball between 5 and 15 yards downfield at the lowest rate of any quarterback in the NFL since 2005. So yeah, Sean Payton had absolutely no interest in letting Russ cook, which would have been fine, except they also seldom let Wilson dial up the deep ball, which has always been the strongest part of his game as a passer. His 36 pass completions of 20 more yards in 2023 was one of the lowest numbers in the NFL of any quarterback who started 15 or more games for their team. For context, Kirk Cousins had 34 such passes in 9 games, and Will Levis had 32 in 9. So with the Broncos taking the keys to the offense from Wilson and throwing them on the roof, that's how you get a quarterback who manages to throw 26 touchdowns on the one hand, but only throws for 3,070 yards in 15 games, which is a per-game rate eerily similar to like Justin Fields as a passer. Yikes. Enter Arthur Smith. Now, say what you want about Arthur Smith's stint as the head man in Atlanta. Smith got that job on the strength of a very successful run as the coordinator of the offense in Tennessee, where he had Ryan Tannehill under center, a player that I have loosely comped to Russell Wilson in recent years in terms of their mutual needs to be in offenses that allow them to dial up vertical shots, preferably against man coverage, to be the most effective versions of themselves. Now, I don't know if this was dumb luck or if the Steelers actually thought about this pairing, but Russell Wilson with Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator here, this could work, okay? Russell Wilson had his best years in offenses that diligently ran the ball to set up the pass, and that's something that Arthur Smith's Tennessee teams did to perfection with peak Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill in 2019 and 2020. Even better, the Steelers have George Pickens, who is exactly the kind of receiver who you want to put the ball in the air 20, 25 plus yards downfield and allow him to go and make good things happen for you. Which again remains Russell Wilson's best strength as a passer. Say what you want about the other parts of his game, but he can throw an effective deep ball and he has always been able to. Add in the quiet Van Jefferson signing, who at times has been a very quality deep threat in his own right, and the inevitable and imminent arrival of some sort of rookie wide receiver in this offense, and we may have something working here. I don't know if an offense straight out of 2015 can still work in the present NFL landscape, but we're going to find out. Of course, the bear-sized fly in the ointment for Russell Wilson in Dynasty was the Steelers' latest big splash move, where they brought in Justin Fields on the cheap as well. Side note, Steelers completely remade their quarterback depth chart for $1.2 million and a future day 3 pick. Wow. Now, the Steelers have said that they want to sign Wilson beyond 2025, but for me, the writing on the wall could not be clear. They are willing to be the last team to give Wilson a shot to be the guy, but he has to perform, and he has to perform now. If he fails to do that, I think his leash is going to be pretty short. This is not a team that's rebuilding. The Steelers want to compete now. So really, Russ is going to have to be better than we've seen him since at least 2021. As for his dynasty price, the Field Straight hasn't really seemed to take much of the heat out of his market price yet, and for me, that's a problem. Wilson with an open-ended opportunity to be the guy in Pittsburgh is much different than Wilson with a field-shaped pistol pressed against his back. Now, in the weeks ahead, I would expect his market to gradually pull back as the smoke slowly starts to clear here, but right now he's going to cost you around like a middle to late 2024 second-round pick in Superflex. Really liked that price a week ago, not so much today. The early offseason outlook for Russell Wilson is he is a hold.